You invested in Stitch Fix when a lot of us other investors didn't see the potential. And even today, Stitch Fix raised less money than it was aiming for. What do you see that other investors may not see?
You know, early in my career, Emily, I had the opportunity to get very close to the management team at Dell, the computer company, when I worked on Wall Street as a sell-side analyst. And one of the things that led to just a spectacular run by Dell, 100x in the public markets, was that they figured out that if you personalize, if you build each unit to individual order, you can not only serve the customer better, but you can actually have a more efficient supply chain as well. And from the very minute that I met Katrina, I had alarm bells going off in my brain that what she was doing had, very similar analogies to what Dell did back then.
So, you were the lead analyst on Amazon's IPO, for example, and anyone in the e-commerce market is incredibly fearful of this giant in the room. When it comes to Amazon, do you worry about the threat when it comes to a company like Stitch Fix?
First of all, everyone should be paying attention to Amazon, and everyone should be aware of them and treat them with the utmost respect. They're probably one of the best executing companies in the world. I think Mr. Buffett may have just said that. That said, in this case, I think Stitch Fix is competing a lot more with the Nordstroms of the world, the Macy's of the world, the H&M's, the ASOS's of the world, that are the leaders in providing fashion and apparel to the consumer base. Right now, we take a very different approach. Amazon's known for having Earth's largest selection, and if you go on there, you can search through SKU after SKU after SKU. We come at it from a remarkably different place. We try and learn as much as we can about the individual, and then we use machine learning and collaborative filtering, a whole bunch of algorithms that helps of our stylists, and we deliver something to you that you haven't even seen yet. Our head of algorithms says it's the ultimate recommendation engine because we don't even let you look at the choices. And that level of curation is something that's highly unique, I think, both against the general apparel community and even against Amazon.
So, Stitch Fix, unlike some of these other on-demand clothing subscription companies, has actually fared well. Others have gone out of business. What makes you think Stitch Fix will be immune to that and have some sort of greater potential?
Sure. Well, first of all, there's already the size and scale that the company's already accomplished. So we're at $1 billion run rate. We've been profitable for many quarters. In fact, when the company came public, there's over $100 million of cash on the balance sheet. The company had only raised $40 million. Hence, we had created $60 million in free cash flow, something that's extremely rare in Silicon Valley these days. And so unit economics are proven. The business model's proven. The company has a very mature management team. So that's just, I think there's already proof that can answer that question. The second thing I would say, though, is if you look at the characteristics of the company in terms of how much we understand about our customer and how much we understand about our product and inventory, I think we're light years ahead of our competitors. So you can put us up against anyone, Nordstrom's, Macy's, any of these players, and I am certain that we know 10x more about our customers and even 10x more about the merchandise.
So, Bill, we've all witnessed the dramatic turn of events at Uber. I know it has been a hard year. Do you think that Travis Kalanick can be a constructive ally to Dara Khosrowshahi on the board? Because some people think Travis shouldn't be on the board at all.
As you probably know, because everything about Uber's been immediately in the press. I left the board this summer and was replaced by my partner, Matt Kohler. And so I'm not present at the board meetings. I know that Matt is on that board and works with Travis. And I know through my own conversations with Dara that he's getting good advice and help from Travis. So when I look at the current situation, I feel extremely happy relative to where we were, say, back in May or June. I think the entire board, including Travis, is excited about Dara as CEO. I think he's doing an incredible job. I think he did a great job in interfacing with the regulatory bodies in London. He did it again in Brazil. We've just added Tony West, who Eric Holder helped us hire, and so I feel really good. I think we've probably reached a new level of stability, and I look forward to where we are going forward.
Benchmark pushed for Travis's resignation and took it so far so as to sue him. You know, that stunned a lot of people. Why did it come to that? Why couldn't you resolve that in private?
Yeah, look, I think any venture capitalist, hopes that they can use persuasion to solve every problem that's out there so that stuff doesn't kind of roll out onto the field like it did in this case. This summer, things at Uber had reached a place where we felt, along with, by the way, four other very large investors. So people typically say Benchmark, but there was 5 investors, including Fidelity, who felt like all of the constituents at Uber were at risk if action didn't happen sooner. And so we did something unprecedented. Look, the number 2, we get 2 questions quite frequently about this. One is, I can't believe you did this, and the other one is, why didn't you do this sooner? And there's no Venn overlap between those 2 things. And so we were in a place where we had to make a very hard decision. We after much reflection, felt that we were on the right side of history. And at this point in time, I feel like we've got things to a place where there's a really good platform for success moving forward. And so while I wouldn't say that the past year has been something that we enjoyed as a firm or would look forward to doing again, I do think we made the right decisions.
Is there anything, Bill, that you think you could have done sooner? And when other companies look at this situation, what should they learn?
Yeah, look, I think that's a fair question, and we've already stated publicly we wish we could have moved sooner. We're minority shareholders in all these companies. We don't act unilaterally, and so to a certain extent, you have to be successful with that persuasion element to bring everyone along. I guess the thing I would say is that, the excessive amount of capital that's been available to Silicon Valley has allowed a lot of entrepreneurs to run without much discipline, because if you're not running out of money, you're not constantly being regraded and asked to come back to the table. And one of the unique things about the Stitch Fix situation is just how early the model moved to profitability and how unusual that was relative to everything else. And so if you're going to move up, if you're going to grow up, if you're going to mature, that involves not only being big and taking market share, but putting in, the right functions and governance and finance and legal and maturing as a business and doing the right things relative to human relations. And so all those elements have to be present. Should we have seen it sooner? I think almost certainly yes. Once we got conviction, along with these other shareholders, that we needed to take action, we moved as fast as we could.
Now, it seems like we're very close to this Softbank deal finally getting done. How optimistic are you? Can you tell us anything about the price that investors might hold out for?
Yeah, so look, we've been working over the summer and at the end of the summer with SoftBank to try and come to some agreements on how the company will be governed, how the shareholder voting will work, so that we can set the company up for success. And it's, consistent with what we've been talking about all morning here. And that's done. That work is done. And so I think we're excited about that. I think Uber and Dara are excited about that. And the board's excited about that. And so now it's time for SoftBank to move forward with the tender. They haven't started that process yet. I don't have anything publicly to say about price. We'll see where they come. And I do hope it will be successful.
Benchmark hired its first female partner, Sarah Tavel, earlier this year. Yeah. This amidst, a string of sexual harassment allegations that have hit the VC industry pretty hard. How big a problem do you think this is, and what will it take to change?
Well, look, I think there is change happening, and I think there are 2 elements that lead to change. One is constant conversation and awareness building, which is happening through all the conversations that have been happening, including this one right here. And so all those things move the ball forward. we are super excited about Sarah being on board. She's made 2 investments, although I don't think either of them are announced. And she's, she's super competitive. So we think she's going to be an incredible venture capitalist. But every single data point helps. I look at, Katrina, so Stitch Fix, people may not know this, over 80% of the employees are female, over 60% of the management team's female, over 60% of the board is female. And I found out this morning she may be the youngest female founder to actually take their company public ever. And so these success points and data points create role models that help bring everything forward. Just by happenstance, not for this reason, but 3 of the last 6 investments I've made personally have a female founder. And so there's momentum. There needs to be more, but I think we are making progress.